Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm installing some halo seats in my Time Trials S2000. The seats that I got were the Sparco Circuit IIs. You can see they have the halos on them. The seats that I was currently using were the Recaro Pole Positions. And these seats are nice, but they don't have the halo safety features that the Sparco Circuit IIs have. So I've just removed the Recaro from the car, just a couple bolts to take that out. And I'm about to put the Circuit IIs in. I actually got two of them. I have another one up here. I'm going to put one on the passenger side as well. Hopefully that will fit. I think this is going to be a tight fit with these, with the big wings on it, especially with the cage, or not the cage, the roll bar rather, and the hardtop. I think it's going to be pretty tight, but I'm using the Buddy Club super low down seat rails, which are pretty popular for the S2000. You can see those are here. They're currently still installed on the Recaro. I'm going to pull those off and I'm going to put them onto the Sparco. And I was measuring the width of the two seats, and they actually look pretty similar between the Recaro pole position and the Sparco Circuit II. The width of the seat base actually appears to be pretty similar between the two of them. So I'm going to try to install these rails first as is without doing any kind of adjustment. The screws here allow you to do a little bit of adjustment. You can shift the rails this way or this way to adjust to different width seats, but I think these are actually pretty similar. I'm actually surprised. I thought these Circuit IIs would be wider, but so I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to try to install them as is. In case you guys are doing this similar install with the Circuit IIs and you're using Buddy Club super low down seat rails, these I measured the distance between the outside of the bolts here, or the bolt brackets, from the outside of one side to the outside of the other side is 18.5 inches. So I'm going to use that as a guide for installing these on the other seats. And that's something important, whether it's stock seats or if you've got aftermarket seats you're replacing. Make sure that, I think it'll save you some time if you make sure you measure the distance between the bolts when you set them up, so you can set them up accurately on the new seat the first time without having to put them in, take them out, keep trying it again and again. So like I said, I measured outside of the bracket, this part, to the outside of the bracket, and that's 18.5 inches, not from the center hole to the center hole. So 18.5 inches outside to outside is what these are, and it's actually the same on the rear. So I'm going to set them up on the new seat that way, and I'll see if I can put them in and see how it goes. Like I said, I think if I run into a fitment issue, it's going to be a clearance issue with the top of the seat because these are so much wider and they have the halo that sticks out. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've got the seat rails installed now on the Circuit II. I ended up doing, I don't know if you see this, but in the front I'm one slot from the bottom, in the back I'm in the very bottom slot. So I'm hoping this is going to give me a little bit of recline, but not too much so that these are interfering with the roll bar. So now I'm going to put the seat in and see how it goes. After a lot of playing around with the seat, I finally did get it in, but there were some pretty serious modifications that I had to do. I'll show you here. I actually had to trim the hardtop. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's hard to see because of the light. I'll try to zoom in a little. There we go. I actually had to trim the hardtop, as you can see there. I actually had to cut it out right here around the shape of the seat. This is a carbon fiber hardtop, so it wasn't that hard to do. I don't know how hard it is to do on the OEM one. I also had to trim the foam out of the side of the seat here to get it to fit right along the center console. I could just remove that center console trim. That was going to be my next step, but I ended up not having to do that. I mean, you can see how tight this seat is in this car. I mean, it's a big seat. It's right up against the roll bar in the back. I'm going to come around to the back window so you can look in, but it's hard to tell, but it's right up against the roll bar. It is a very, very tight fit. I think that the Circuit 1 would be a better fit for this car. I got the Circuit 2 because of the higher strap pass-throughs on the back, and you know I have a fairly tall torso. I'm 6'2", 6'3", and the pole positions, the straps were kind of pulling down on my shoulders. The pass-throughs really weren't high enough. So with this seat, they are definitely high enough, but this seat is almost too big for this car. So maybe ultimately I'm kind of too big for this car, but I'm going to do my best. I got it back as far as possible. I didn't get the seat as low as I had in the previous setup with the pole positions. The seat was a little bit lower, which makes it easier to heel toe, because my knees will actually hit the bottom of the steering wheel when I'm trying to heel toe downshift. And these really high bolsters here, this seat is very, very heavily bolstered. I mean, you can see how high this bolster is. That makes it even worse because you don't really have any left to right leg motion. Whereas if you look at the pole positions, I mean, it's a much less aggressive bolster. So anyway, long story short, it does fit in the car, but there's a significant amount of customization that's required, both of the seat and of the hardtop. And you know, I really had to play around with the seat rails for a long time. I'm using the Buddy Club seat rails. I really had to play around with them for a long time to get it to fit. And again, it's not as low as I wanted it to be. It's not as low as the pole position was. So I mean, it's okay. I'm going to try it for this next event. If I really hate it, then I may go back to the pole position. But I really wanted that halo for extra safety. So anyway, I'll let you know how the first event goes. So after sitting in the seat and trying just some mock-up heel-toe downshifts in the car, my knees are definitely hitting the steering wheel here. So what I've done is I've decided to go ahead and get an aftermarket steering wheel with a flat bottom. And my hope is that's going to give me enough clearance where my knees aren't hitting the wheel, because it's really hard to downshift if you're taller. I have a tall torso, and it means my knees are basically right here. And when I go over to the left with my knee, when I'm trying to get to the right with my heel, I hit right here on the steering wheel. So the flat bottom wheel hopefully will take care of that issue. I'll show you over here what I got. So I got an OMP wheel. It's, I think, the smallest one they make. That still has the 6-bolt design on it. So here, let's take it out of here. Yeah, so this is Alcantara. It's really nice. Comes with the horn button. I don't think I'm going to use it, but it comes with the horn button. I'll show you kind of a mock-up of it on the car. I forget what the name of this one is. This one is called I got it from Evasive Motorsports. They had a good deal on it. What is it called? This one is called the Super Quadro steering wheel. So it's 330 millimeters by 290 millimeters. Those are the dims. So it's 290 millimeters in height. So it should be pretty short. I'll show you in here what it looks like, mocked up kind of. Let me open the door here. I don't know if this is going to be easy enough to see. Yeah, so if I line this up with the Honda emblem here in the middle, you can kind of see how much difference there is. I mean, the top's going to be probably pretty close in terms of where the top lines up, but you can see there's a lot of extra clearance here at the bottom. Not sure how that's going to come through in video, but yeah, so I'm hoping that this is going to give me enough clearance, and then my last resort is to switch seat rails. I'm using the Buddy Club seat rails right now, and I really was hoping to not have to change those out. But this does sit up higher than the pole positions. I used to have pole positions on both sides, and those could sit lower just because they're not as wide. This seat, which is, like I said, is the Circuit II, it fits me a lot better. It's designed for taller drivers, and the bottom of the seat is also wider. So it really fits me better. I'm 6'2", 6'2 and a half about, and I need a seat that size. But the issue then is trying to fit everything else into an S2000, which is not the biggest car. So anyway, and then for the hub and the quick release, I went with the Energy stuff. I've heard kind of mixed things about Energy. So they seem like they're kind of hit or miss, but they're probably about half the price, I would say, of their competitors. So, you know, worst case, I end up buying, you know, sending this back and buying a different one if it doesn't work. So anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna put that. I'll probably do that in a different video. I'll do the install. I'm waiting on one more part to install the steering wheel. I'll do that in a separate video, and I'll sort of do a walkthrough in terms of what I did to install it on my car, and also how it fits once I'm done with that. If that solves it, or if I also need to do a different seat rail to lower the seat even further. I think I can get another inch. I'd basically be sitting on the floor at that point. So we'll see. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.